welcome to the podcast. Any conversation around the subject of the color of a person's skin has always been a sensitive topic. Recently, in the mainstream media, we've seen Black Lives Matter rise within the US demographic a lot. We've also seen this rise during every American election cycle, but this time it's a different scenario. This time it's risen to a near genocide, or near imagined genocide at least. Obviously, there's a lot of misrepresentation of data on suicide and homicide rates in the mainstream media. It always makes it hard for someone to imagine what the true story is at ground level. And this got me interested in having some conversations with friends and near colleagues at the community center here. And I thought it would be interesting to get a Swedish perspective. So I got in touch with Salwan, Diwan and Eden Basic, who are the guests on this episode. Salwan had mentioned to me that he had done his master's thesis on the subject of systemic racism. But apart from that, he is also working in the field with his colleagues, one of who is Eden Basic, as I mentioned. And they involve themselves quite closely with disenfranchised communities, if that's the right term, or at least groups of people, particularly the youth, who find opportunities being held back and need help in direction or need a support system beyond their households. So I was really interested in that, and both of them were happy to have a conversation with me. Let's dive straight into it. This is how it went. You feel like it?
Yeah. Feels good.
Cool. Okay. Well, welcome to Earthspeak.
Thank you.
I wanna, thanks for being here. Thanks for giving me your time.
Of course.
And I wanna first just give a shout out to Bege. Maybe we should do that.
Yeah.
Thank you, Bege.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bege is, by the way, a community house for those of you who are listening, maybe not watching. And it's a place where I get a chance to podcast once in a while, and you guys work here.
Yeah.
So, and you guys have been swimming in the waters of what we're going to talk about today.
Yeah.
And it's been sort of gotten into motion. So we're going to talk about the subject of race and racism, and locally, maybe some anecdotes that you've had in your personal lives would be nice. But I'm forgetting the introduction. So we'll start with who wants to go first.
Sure, I can go first. My name is Salwan. I am 25 years old. I work here as a field coordinator. The youth we are meeting in our work are like between 13 and 21. And I usually work in the music studio we have in Bergendahlska. So, that's me.
Mm-hmm. And my name is Edin. Same kind of work like Salwan, field coordinator. Been working here for the past 3 years, almost. Mm.
Do you do a lot of work in the studio as well, or you're more like field?
No, not.
But
not
he's
anymore.
a musician.
Really?
No. I wouldn't call myself a musician. It would be insult to musicians.
He's really good. He's pretty good.
No.
What do you play? Or what do you like? What kind of music?
I don't play anything. I'm a singer. I wanted to play guitar and sing, but I heard so many times in lots of bands that my guitar playing sucks big time, and my singing sucks a little bit less. So I was forced to put my guitar aside and just sing.
Yeah.
So, but I don't have a band currently, but I'm working on it.
Really? It'll be interesting to hear you sometime.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't promise.
I'm not a big critique. Yeah, I just Cool.
The more you, I used to say, the more you drink, the better I sound.
Oh, okay. So I know how the planning should be done.
Yeah. You need to take some drink, then I can play for you.
They actually performed in Bergendahlska.
Really?
A while ago.
Okay. Yeah, few times. It's I like doing music, but like I said, I wouldn't call myself musician. I just love music in general.
Yeah.
Be around people.
Yeah.
Who are musicians.
Cool.
When they allow me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about do you want to speak a little bit about your background? How long have you been in Sweden?
Yeah, I've been very long. It's been a while when I get this question last time. How long I've been here? I think. Let me see, 26, 7 years maybe. I don't know, something like that. I'm coming from Bosnia originally.
Yeah.
And I came here because of the war.
Yeah.
They call it like this civil war.
Yeah.
And I was always thinking about them putting word civil in front of the word war. I think it's kind of funny.
Yeah, it's interesting, yeah.
Okay, but my father he's a ethnic Muslim, and my mother she's an ethnic Serb. So it was a kind of complicated situation for me, which I decided to leave it, just to hit the road, and I came to Sweden.
Yeah.
Yeah. And now I'm here. Yeah.
And you have family here?
Yeah, I have a wife, and we have a couple of twins. Yeah, and they are one boy, one girl. Shout out to them, Nando and Nirvana.
Shout out to Nando and Nirvana.
Yeah,
and Milena.
And Milena, my beautiful wife. And yeah, that's it about.
You, Salwan?
I came to Sweden 2004. Also war. My father, he came here first, like 2002, and then we came legally 2004. He came illegally.
Yeah.
So, and I've been here like mostly all my life, and yeah, Iraq war.
Yeah. And 2020, you're just finishing a thesis on something similar, so you want to dive into it?
Yeah, sure. I have written a thesis about honor-based violence and abuse, and the thesis is based on like professionals who work at, like social workers who work and meet people that have been abused and oppressed in a honor-based context. And how they view the problem, and how they talk about the problem. We found that usually they say it's a universal problem. It's not attached to a specific culture or religion or people, race or whatever. But they also said it's always easier to connect it to Muslims and people from the Middle East. So it's not all Muslims, but those who are from the Middle East.
Yeah.
And it was also, when they discussed about it, it was also like, this is something that is not Swedish. So yeah, it's done. The thesis is done in Sweden. To clarify that. So to take it further, they also said it's something that is not Western. So it was like, how come you're saying it's universal, but it's not Western, or it's not Swedish? So how can that be? Liksom. Liksom is a Swedish word. It's like type. And the most interesting thing we found in the thesis, I wrote the thesis with my partner Mona Nader. Shoutouts to her. She's not here today. The most interesting thing was that these professionals, they said the honor context could be found in the Swedish context, like between Swedish people, ethnic Swedish people, but it's not always categorized, or it's never categorized as honor-based oppression or violence because they are Swedish.
Okay. If
they had been from another country, or like immigrants, or have a specific religion like Islam, then maybe, or not maybe, they are being categorized as, it's a honor context. So it's pretty racist. And it's not like it's based on what's called stereotypes that you have. Like maybe a lot of times you're born with them, like, or it's a system, like society is like this. Yeah, so it was really interesting to hear how they talked about the problem and how they also meet the people that are being oppressed. Because the study, we read a lot of research about the same problem, and the research says that people who are searching for help from such a context, they have to hur säger man anpassa?
Adjust.
Yeah, they have to adjust their stories to the professionals' understanding so they can get help. So if I'm telling you, like, I'm being oppressed, and honor-based oppression and violence is something that's done by a collective. It's not one person. It's like a collective. It's a system.
Yeah.
So if I'm telling you, like, I am being hurt by this person, and they are like, they don't let me go outside, they don't let me play with my friends, they don't let me have telephone on me. They could be like, oh, okay, it's maybe a family problem. Just we can work with the family. But in an honor context, you can't do that, because the family usually is like the oppressor, and it's not just one person. It's like the whole family. It's a system. So the risk is that they get more oppressed or exposed to more violence and stuff like that. So they have to always adjust their stories to get help, and that's a bit problematic too. And it's a lot of times about, like, the understanding of the professional about this stuff, and their understanding about it is very limited. And that's very problematic. So there needs more like knowledge about it and more education. People need to educate themselves, and society should help professionals better. And
can I jump in?
Yeah, I was just going to ask you, did you have any experience, like he did that study and you did interviews with 7 different people, right?
7 different.
Maybe we can come back to one, like the most one that surprised you, or, but like, have you in your...
Yeah, of course.
I'm sure there's many, but...
Yeah, of course, but I will come back to that. I just want... That, what Salwan was talking about, I think it's very important. This phenomenon of attaching this problem to, like, this special, to one, like,
people,
community, religion, it's very problematic, because I'm coming from a country where we have all of Balkans. We have lots of this Romani people, and it's exactly what happened, because it's because of all this stigma that is put on those people, or all of these stereotypes. It's almost impossible. I would say it is impossible for them to be a part of society.
Right.
It is.
Yeah.
I've seen it many times, and it is really like systematic racism that always was going on over there.
Yeah.
And it still is. And it's a big problem.
Yeah.
They have kids. Their kids cannot go to school.
Yeah.
They don't get educated. And it's a problem, a new problem because of that. And And it's I think it's a product of, like, this stigma,
right?
Stigmatization. This that we put on this, like, special people, like Salwan said, like this phenomenon he was talking about. We attaching this to Islam.
Yeah.
And I can imagine it's maybe
like blown.
Yes.
Out of proportion.
Maybe it's. I know it is. You can find this in Islam, of course.
Yeah.
But it's like it's problem if we talk in these terms all the time.
Yeah.
We need to lift up our head and see what's beyond.
Right.
Sometimes.
So, I mean, that's from where you come from. And what about work here? During your work here, did you see anything? I know you guys work a lot with, like, there's an area, Arabi, which is also, is that specific to where you guys especially work with, or like anything you want to share?
Stereotyping or like honor-based?
We were talking about honor-based with you, but yeah, either way, it doesn't matter.
I have lived in like Arabi, and I have lived in Hofshagen, and I'm living right now in Centrum.
Yeah.
And I have felt like stereotype. I have been categorized in situations, even professional situations. So I have felt it in like a personal and individual way. Also, when I came to Sweden, actually, I saw it when I was kind of young, like 9 years old, like how people were looking at my mother because she wears hijab.
Mm-hmm.
And the way they talked to me, and because sometimes, you know, you could go like and talk to a person not from a specific culture, or don't have like the hip hop, you know, like, and they're like, yo, so what's up, like these stuff, and it's stereotypical because they like, if they wouldn't have done it because it was someone else of the same background as theirs. Like I'm talking about like Swedish people or white people, or but yeah, I have felt it, and I have also felt how, like, even when I was playing football here, I felt like people who in some type of teams, like people got selected because they had maybe a father or a mother they knew, but they were always like Swedish and white people. So so it's preferential. Yeah. So and that's stereotypical. That's you know, that's a system, but you can see it like anywhere, systematical. You can feel it individually, I think. Yeah. And these are just only my experiences, you know. I don't know. I think it exists, and not just here, like all of the whole world. Yeah. Here, people have this preconceived notion of Sweden of not expecting it from here. Yeah. That's another reason why I wanted to talk to you, was because even when I came here, I had no idea. Yeah. And I started feeling it. You see it across workspaces, but I started first seeing it in schools because my son was being called Mowgli. Yeah. You know, and it still does. Yeah. So, but it's a very like under the surface kind of a. Not always. I have experienced some worse things. Like more racist slurs. Yeah. I was once walking here to Bege, and we call them raggare cars, you know, in some old Volvos. They drive around and listen to Eddie Meduza and stuff. 50s kind of rockabilly, hillbilly kind of music. Mm-hmm. And they threw like bananas at me and was like, sad nigger, you know. So it was really like, is this really happening? I was kind of in shock, you know. So, but I was also in anger, so because I have had like some racial slurs, but not in that way. Yeah. And yeah, so that's surprising. Yeah. Just a quick one. I was called a terrorist on the phone when I was in Toronto. It was past 9/11. Yeah. So it's kind of fresh wound. But I was looking for a house, and he's like, "Where are you from?" Yeah, I'm from Dubai. He's like, "Where's that?" And I'm like, "It's in the Middle East." I haven't even told him I'm from India. Oh, I don't want any terrorists, and he just hangs up on me. So it's really strange and shocking. But I'm not saying that I'm not saying that guy was a bad guy. I'm saying he's part of a system which is doesn't it's media. It's a lot of things that we are all part of the system. Yeah, 100%. Yeah, but we have to change that. And we have like to know more, to know better. Like we need more knowledge about how to change the system, because it's really hard and takes generation.
How do you guys follow this in your work? How do you kind of manage these kind of situations?
I think most important thing is like I have to use word educate. Maybe I don't mean per se educate, but inform people, to help people open eyes. Yeah. I'm also one of those people. I don't like to judge people.
Yeah.
I'm one of those. I also think it must be very hard to be racist.
Yeah.
How one day when you wake up, do you like realize I'm a racist person?
Yeah.
How do you cope with that? It must be hard.
Yeah.
I don't feel sorry about them. I don't feel sorry about it. They chose, but it must be hard.
Yeah.
So I just it's so easy to blame.
Yeah.
It's so easy to blame. But I think with information, with education, with lifting all these good examples, it's very important.
Yeah.
When I was working previously, I was working a few years with this. How you call them in English? And some commander, like this underage youth coming from other countries.
Okay.
Refugees.
Yeah, thank you. And I saw like million good examples, and sometimes I reached media.
Yeah.
But they never called back. They never came.
Yeah.
They never, because I don't know why, but maybe it doesn't sell.
Yeah.
But if one of those guys just like went out and ripped a bike,
that would get highlighted.
I think so. So it's kind of feel sad.
Yeah.
About all this. What are we choosing to focus? And me myself, I should be one of those like lucky people, because I am like Salwan. I am a refugee, but my skin is much whiter than Salwan's. I'm sorry to say it made my life in Sweden much easier. And it's very disgusting.
Yeah.
But it's true. I heard many times how we people from former Yugoslavia, we did good and everything. And we did good in Sweden.
Yeah.
But I think big part of this that we did good is that we are very similar to Swedes.
Yeah.
We are white, we are European people. I think that's play a big role here.
Yeah.
Not only that we are coming from a country with with good education system, but we are white, we are Europeans.
Yeah.
And it hurts me to say this, but I think it does matter.
It is very Eurocentric, and I was listening to this guy. He was saying that almost 9/10 of the world's population is of some color or the other. It's this minority which is like of European descent or from Europe. And then we still kind of, the way media always portrays like everything you see from films, cartoons, movies, music, it's always, it's always like the black guy who's dying, or like, and even the way, even I look at music also, you try to also always associate it with certain cultures. And
this started many years ago. Start from white blonde Jesus. It started, yes, of course it did. It started from white blonde Jesus and all the way to today.
Yeah.
And it was always these stereotypes in like 80s action movies. USA, it was Arabic. Arnold and Stallone, they were killing Arabic guys.
Yeah.
And it was Russian guys. Now they're killing Arab guys.
Yeah. Terrorists.
So, terrorists, Arab terrorists.
Muslim. But to change that system is like actually we work as field coordinators, like we said earlier. And our group is we are like 6 persons, and we are 4 guys, 2 women, 4 men, 2 women, and the age is not like the same, and we are kind of like not fully represented. We're not like 50-50, but we have different backgrounds,
education,
different education. And that, like,
we belong to different ethnic groups.
Yeah, and that's really good, because you need that in every workspace, and you need that in society in general. So, you know, that representativity of society,
like the mirror of the society.
Yeah, and even, you know, like we always talk about like what's called majority discrimination, we call it, when the majority of society discriminate the minorities, like political views or, you know, anything, because the majority is the majority. When you vote, it's like the majority, and usually the things you talk about or the things you want to create in society, they're not in favor for the minorities. So we have to think about that as a society as a whole, and to like uplift each other and give.
Because we see lots of hopelessness out there.
100%.
Lots of hopelessness when we are like in this Arabi.
Yeah.
It's like it's really my favorite part of the city. I used to live there. It's there. It's take a stroll tonight and you will see lots of people out there, parents playing with their kids and everything. It's like
it's a really
beautiful
environment.
Nice environment. But when you talk to the kids, to the people, there's so much hopelessness. They are tired. They feel. I heard a few times like there's some kind of shadow society. Mm-hmm. They're not the part of society.
Yeah.
And it's hard. It's hard to deal with this. It must be really hard to wake up every morning and feeling this hopelessness.
Yeah. Yeah, because nothing is favoring you, right? Like there's nothing in terms of policy or structurally, there's nothing that's actually trying to get rid of that. You know, and like you said, all the good examples are not being highlighted.
We are trying in Växjö Kommun like really hard to make a change, but it's really hard because as we said earlier, it's a system.
Yeah.
And we have to see it as a whole. We are really trying really hard. Like we spend a lot of time there in Arabi.
Yeah.
And we talk to the youth and we create activities, like help them if they wanna get a job, CV, when we have contacts like that. But it's so hard to also motivate the youth because they feel as like Edin said, outsiders, you know, outside of society. Like, oh, are you going to the stan, to the city? Like, what do I do there? Like, it's better for me to stay here at like Arabi Park Arena or near somewhere Arabi or even Teleborg.
Yeah.
I also think that I agree with you. I think we are doing a lot of things. When I said before, I put a lot of blame on media, actually.
Yeah.
But I think also, like Växjö Kommun, I think we are doing a lot of things. We can do more things. But last few years, I think it's better. It's like a lot. So people are starting to see this Arabi display as what it really is going on there, and lots of politicians are trying to help it. And I think it's great.
Yeah.
But it needs more.
Yeah, definitely.
It needs more.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, I'm not saying there's no progress. You know, we had slavery and we had like segregation laws. And we had apartheid like 1990s. But so we've come a long way. But it's just, the fact that every other part of society has progressed so much.
Yeah.
You know, you see like the way the IT industry is moved or everything else like social media. Yeah. But then here's this part of society. And I think it's also because of lack of progress in education. It literally boils down to that. Like I was talking to my son, and it's not really talked about a lot in school. When you talk about, let's say, religion, like nobody knew what Sikhism was. So I think it's important to have a more inclusive way of educating. It's all awareness, and it's all about like here's the real world out there. You know, don't cherry pick.
And we all need to like be open.
Yeah.
If I can share one little story when we have time.
Sure. Yeah.
When I lived in this little place called Lessebo, it's like 30 kilometers from here.
Yeah, I've been there.
And one of my neighbors, he was like this. He was hardcore Nazi. He was like really Nazi guy.
Yeah.
And I hated his guts. He hated me, really. And it was almost like it was many years ago. I was young and angry, and I was I was almost just looking for a chance to just start something with him. And we had a common friend, a guy that we both knew in school.
Mm-hmm.
And I was speaking with him, and this Nazi guy heard about me liking the same kind of music like he,
Mm-hmm.
like this hard rock, heavy metal. And once when we were in this washing room, he approached me and started talking with me about this.
Mm-hmm.
And then I went to his home. He went to mine. We listened to music. We became friends.
And then you became a Nazi.
No, almost. No, I will never be a Nazi. But it was he who reached out actually first. I don't think I would have done that, but he did it, and I think that's a good example because it has to be like this. He saw me just like a refugee before, just like a person who come to his country, just like burden and nothing else. And now suddenly he see me like person who listens to same music like he, coming from Balkans, and still I'm listening to this obscure Swedish death metal music. How goes and it's very cool. I think it's a cool story, and it's hope in it.
I think when you realize that you have some things in common,
Yeah.
it's really like, you know, that's how you understand people. Like then stereotypes
Yeah.
like vanish. Not vanish, but like
Yeah.
it can help to reduce that. And even in like in my thesis, you have these stereotypes of like people, and they get judged even before they are being oppressed or like being the oppressor. They're being judged like they could be an oppressor or a person who is being oppressed just because of where they are from. Like Edin said with his example, like he's being categorized as a burden or just a refugee. That's something I don't have in common with. But we are all people. Like if not music, then you have like blood. The blood is red, and you know, like we're people.
We are both members of human race.
Yeah, 100%. And when you understand that, I think.
Yeah, of course.
And for that, and even if you understand that, you have a lot of like it's maybe 50% of the work. The rest is like the systematic racism. When I talked about that example of being thrown at with the bananas and all that racial world, that's not the worst thing. Like the worst thing is that when you apply for a job, you don't get it because of your name or how you look like. That's the worst thing, and that's because of systematic racism.
And society loses a lot. It's a huge resource that it's missing out on. That's something that a lot of people higher up don't see. It's like when you mix two colors, you know, you get a new color, and then there's no way to get those two other colors once the new colors are. You can't choose some pigments. You won't get the original colors ever. The problem is they still want those two colors. They still want to identify. They don't want the new colors coming out, you know. And I think that's a little bit of letting go of like leave the sort of roots behind a little bit, and let's look at what the new generations are doing. Let's look at what's new on the plate now. It's a totally different feeling. I feel like it's just limits someone from feeling free, because I would love it if I could walk out and people didn't look at me based on my beard or my color of my skin or my hair or whatever it is, you know, because it's such a free feeling that I'm just me and I can be me and no one's gonna judge me.
Yes.
And I have opposite. When people see me, they always think that I'm Swedish.
Yeah.
Like my color, tattoos, like this, clothes and everything.
Yeah.
But when I open my mouth, when they
like,
hear the Swedish from my mouth, they
But it's okay. You're right.
Yeah.
It's really interesting that you're saying that, because yesterday actually talked about with a kid here who was coming here and was like talking. He was like, "Have you been like utsatt, like being called, like the example I talked about, And I was talking about it, actually. I told him, yeah, it happened to me, you know, I've seen it. And he was like, aren't you scared when you go out? I was like, I have never gotten that question before, you know. It was so like, whoa, like what happened? So I was like, nah, you know, I don't want to live with fear. And
yeah.
and
Maybe he feels like that.
Yeah, exactly. But then when I thought about it, like when I got home after work, I was like, it's so normalized. It's so you know, so you don't like think about it like, oh, I'm scared. No, it happens.
Yeah.
You know. And actually, one of my answers to him was like, such things happens like in the world, not just here, like everywhere.
Yeah,
so you shouldn't be scared. But that's really problematic. Like, if these things shouldn't happen, that's really not okay. But we're thinking about it like, it's okay, it happens, it's okay, get over it. That's crazy.
Because it's normalized.
Yeah, it's so normalized. So yeah.
So it's good that you at least you're part of an organization that is working on creating awareness, and you're trying to find out.
Yeah, I'm actually proud. I'm actually proud of my. Yeah, I'm proud of our organization.
Yeah.
Of what we're doing. Yes, I am really.
Yeah.
We can do more. We can all do, but I think we're doing some good things.
Yeah.
We're trying. At least we're trying. We're doing our best.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mm.
All right, man. Yeah, I think let's conclude it here. It's been nice. Thank you so much for giving me your time and talking about this.
Thank you for being here.
Thanks.
Yeah.
And what's your show called?
Earth Speak.
Shoutouts to Earth Speak.